Right on. Cool. Hey, everyone. I'm Odin, and my favorite. So what I do is I turn small businesses into money-making machines using effective, time-sensitive marketing plans that you can implement as a checklist. My favorite game right now, actually, is I'm playing Fortnite with my son. So he was playing Fortnite, and I was like, okay, I want to spend more time with you. You're playing Fortnite. So I got on, and I started playing Fortnite, and we win first place matches quite often, a few times a week, actually, which is really nice. I'm also a chess lover. I love chess. It's a great game. I play with my son as well. I let him win a number of games. Let him win, but I'm going to use your idea now, Simon. Take the pieces off. For me, that's actually a good idea. Never thought of that one. And I also was introduced to this other game called Go. And in different countries, it's called different things. And I think in Japan, it's called Ego. And I think in Korea, it's called a Baduk. And in China, it's called Wei Chi. And here it's called Go. And it's basically a 19 by 19 grid-like pattern with black and white pieces, and you play for real estate in pieces. And the rule of the game is that you have to get 2 eyes. Anyway, one of my mentors way back when, 20 years ago, taught this to me. And I used to go to the library and play this a lot, and it's just tons of fun. So let's get right into the presentation here. Thanks everyone for being here. Do appreciate that. Please put your cell phones onto the side so that there are ideally no distractions. Take a sip over here. I'm going to move you guys over here so I can see your faces because I like that. And what we're going to be talking about is what some people think I'm good at, which is talking to people. And I'm going to try to give you an idea here. I mean, I've done lots of business closing deals without face-to-face meetings. That's over the phone or on Zoom or on Skype or something like that. You're basically just not face-to-face. You're using some kind of technology. So please get away distractions, be accountable, write some notes down. I've been writing notes down for you guys. You have a 400% better chance of remembering what you're learning here today when you write down notes, even if you don't look at them again. It just does something to your cellular memory. And so there's no rabbits out of a hat. At the end of the presentation, there's going to be a special offer that you can take me up on. All right? Cool. All right, so it's time to reimagine how calls are being made, not only for all of us. We've had a much more technologically touched life over the last 12 months, I would say, all of us here. And we need to realize what still works in your sales and marketing plan. What is still the number one most effective to do in your sales and marketing plan is telephone. The telephone has an 18% success rate when you get on the telephone with individuals. It's the biggest success rate on top of in-person presentations, quite frankly. That would be the number one way to get people to pay attention to what it is that you're promoting or what you're selling or what you're offering as a product or service. Just remember that what's really important is how you present yourself. And so one of the things that I really encourage individuals is to find their voice. And each of you, I listen to you very carefully here. Each of you have very good voices. And I'm thinking that each of you here probably would like to have 1 or 2 more sales per month or more, depending on what your capacity is. And so the idea is that I'm going to share some of what my best practices have been for making sales and for getting results for the people that I work with. You're going to notice that I'm going to do my best to reduce my ums and my ahs. I'm consciously thinking about what I'm saying, and I encourage each of you to do the same thing when you're on the phone. Of course, I'm a human being, and it's going to happen, right? So just be aware that when you're making these kind of phone calls, that you do need a sense of humor. You have to have enthusiasm. You have to be positive. You got to have a pleasant speaking voice. I find that sometimes that I think that you guys might not hear me because you're kind of far away. So is my voice tone the right now, or am I just a little too loud, or how is it going for you guys? Just checking in. It's all good? Perfect. I love it. Great. The other thing about making this a success in whatever industry you're in is you have to be yourself. There is no, the thing when people bring up telephone sales or cold calling. That's what other people call it. I don't call it cold calling, by the way. Everything that I do is I'm just getting to know you as a human being. And you just happen to be my target market, which means that I think that you might need my product or service. And I think that maybe you might not know about it. And so what I want to share with you about my product or service. And there's a certain series of steps that I go through in order to share that with you so that ultimately you realize that, hey, I really need what you're telling me about. And I say, yeah, I know. That's why I'm telling you about it. And so that's kind of the system that I want you guys to get into. You can create the system for yourself. It is a sales system that you can create if you haven't already created it. If you're good at sales or getting to know people on the phone like I am, what you're looking for is you're just looking to get 1% better today. And there's a couple questions that are coming in, so I'm going to see if I can answer those. Okay, perfect. You guys are just chatting amongst yourselves. Good. I love it. That's what should happen in a presentation. Definitely. So the idea is that if this is spurring ideas for you, please share your takeaways. That's one of the things we do in all of our masterminds. We love it for you guys to share your takeaways with us. Just one little thing that you take away here would be really, really good. Okay, so it's going to be hard for each of you to try to be like gurus. It's never going to happen. What you need to do is you need to recognize yourself as your own master and then slowly walk into that mastery. I mean, like you guys, everyone here has really good voices. So that I can only imagine that what is the challenge for most individuals here is maybe the initial icebreaker, like what we did this morning, which was great, or the initial or creating that follow-up call, or explaining what the need is, or finding out what the hot button issue is that the person's truly dealing with so that you can solve that. So there's just some elements within the conversations that we're going to maybe bring to your attention so you can create a better system. So be genuinely interested in getting to know people. That's just the best suggestion that I can give you. Everyone that's here already, you've already taken the next step. You're doing networking, you're online, you're showing your faces. I mean, what more do you need? You need this stuff to work that I'm sharing with you here. So you got to integrate your phone calls or your follow-up calls as a part of your sales process. So I'll give you an example. We have a $5,000 grant that we can gift to 2 companies per month. And the other day, I was in the process of gifting this to a business that qualified. And I got a question back saying that it was a red flag that I sent them the website specifically that explained the entire grant scenario. I figured that's some pretty good communication, right? Like I really wanted to give value. But it turns out that my intention was misunderstood. And so what I needed to do is I needed to reply back in a kind way and say, hey, actually, what I was really trying to do is just show you what you were going to be getting with this grant. There's nothing up my sleeves. I really want to just see your business succeed, partially because I love testimonials, guys. I actually work for testimonials. It's the money is a bonus, but the testimonials are great. They are really what differentiate you in the marketplace. And so approach all your conversations as though you're going to get a testimonial. And in your mind, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be looking for what the person says as a feedback and write it down. And then what you're doing is you're creating a case study out of that, because what you're doing is you're watching someone go in what we call the education spectrum. I'm going to be showing that to you in just a couple moments. And as you go through the education spectrum, people are going, wow, really? Whoa, I didn't know that. And you get to watch them go through that process. It's truly awesome. And you guys get to make money doing that, watching them go through your process. So remember that a phone call is a series of calls. You might make an initial phone call to say, hey, how you doing? And this is what I do, actually. I say, hey, how's it going? I'm wondering, how do I get onto your trades list? So let's say you're a corporate photographer. I don't know, maybe there's a photographer here or something. And you guys decided that you wanted to phone up a company and say, hey, COVID's almost done. and everyone's going to have a new look with new clothing and everything. Have you guys considered doing corporate photographs? And they're going to maybe say yes or no. But before I even go into that pitch, the first thing I say is this. I say, hey, hi, I'm Odin. I'm wondering, and I always introduce myself with my first name. I don't say my first and last name. I also don't say the company I'm with until later on. I'm looking for buy-in in the conversation. That's what I'm really looking at. I'm looking for an actual relationship to be built. I don't have time for people that don't want a relationship. I'm a long-term thinker. And so I say, hey, I'm Odin. I'm wondering, how do I get onto your trades list? And very often I get, and by the way, the trades list changes names from industry to industry. So you have to figure out what your trades list is for your particular industry. And most people are saying, oh yeah, sure, no problem. I'll get you on my trades list. Send me an email is what they're going to say. And so you're going to have an email prepared and ready, set up, and you're going to explain what the benefits or what pain buttons you've identified and how you're going to help them with that. And so depending, like if you're a photographer, the pain button is, and I'm going to let you know this, guys, I was actually seriously looking for a photographer. I reached out to a number of photographers and none of them got back to me. The follow-up completely sucked. And when I said, hey, I want photographs like this, the photographer get back to me and saying, sorry, we don't do it that way. We do it this way. So I can't even give me what I want. So there's chances out if you're a photographer out there and someone is looking for a service and you were able to create a good marketing twist on it. Like for instance, did you know that when people see your face, it builds trust automatically? Why wouldn't you want to show your face? So now show all the statistics about showing your face and how it builds trust and builds reputation. That's a really good thing. I try to add that to my email even so that people will see what I look like and they're not taken aback. And I'm not that, I'm the good Odin. Because there's other Odins, I don't know what they're like, but I'm the good Odin, right? So I'm wanting them to really build a relationship with me. And this is all just about the first call. And so one of the other things I do when I'm making my first call is I'm really paying attention to who the person that's answering. The first person that answers, and sometimes I forget. I try to be perfect on every call, but gee whiz, sometimes I even have a checklist, but sometimes I just flow in the moment. I want this to be a natural process that occurs, not something that's just like made up, but something that is actually genuinely felt and thought through. So I know what the message is going to be. I'm looking for the name of the person that's picking up the phone. It's really important. Because they are the gatekeeper. And I want them to know, and I want them to know that what I'm doing is I'm phoning them for their own good. For their own good. And you're thinking, wow, that's a lot of stuff to remember. It is, but it's what works. It's totally what works. And so I'm remembering the person's name, and it doesn't matter how the person is named. What I always try to do is spell it out, and I spell it out, and when I make a little game out of it, guys, remember we were talking about games? I say, okay, well, I just spelled your name, but I want to make sure I got it perfectly. Can you spell it for me, please? And that always gets me the correct spelling of the person, because I know I'm not just calling one time, guys. Because when you get onto a person's trades list, you have to follow up a second time and make sure that you've gone on. Then you have to follow up a third time and make sure that that they have some business going on. And then you're going to follow up a fourth time and saying, hey, I'm on your trades list. Are you guys doing any business? I'd like a chance to quote on that opportunity that you guys have coming up. And that's the entire intention of all this. It's like you're calling because you're here to help them. You want to provide them great value. So we have a comment over here. So as a person with a name that's unique spelling, getting my name spelling right gives extra brownie points. So it's important. Absolutely. 100%. And I'm also using a CRM. One of the CRMs I'm using right now is Agile CRM. So the first thing I do is I identify my target market through an Excel spreadsheet. Maybe it's through one of the lists that people have signed up on, or maybe it's something that I've target marketed. And each of you here has a defined target market. You just have to identify what that is, and then you can just develop a plan. And the idea is that, oh, I just lost my my thought there for a moment. That's all right. It'll come back to me in just a quick minute. So the point is that when we're phoning individuals, what we're doing is we're paying attention to the special details. The person at the front who's picking up the phone wants to know that you're giving them something of value. And so when you're saying I'm getting onto the trades list, that means that you are offering the company an opportunity to make more potential money or to save money, one or the other. But you have to dive in a little bit further into some of the hot buttons as well. The trades list is just the first conversation. Oh yeah, I remember the series of calls that you're making, the third call, the fourth call. You have to be prepared to at least have, when I start making the fourth or fifth call, I start actually asking for the sale. I start asking for the sale around the fourth or fifth call. I start hinting, I start really giving good drips of information. Now, remember that a call can be lessened to the degree of time that you spend on with that individual. So in my industry, for instance, we have found that if you give an individual between 2 and 6 hours worth of education, chances are they're going to become a client of yours. So that means that I have to be prepared to spend 2 to 6 hours of time with a potential client so they understand that what I'm doing is real, that they will actually see benefit out of it. So a lot of you are thinking to yourself, I don't want to give any stuff away for free. Why would I do such a thing? You're not giving anything away for free. What you're doing is you're giving education. You're giving an understanding of the value that you bring to the table, and you're showing your work ethic. People really want to see work ethic as well. And all of this can come through in a conversation. We've been talking for what, about 30 minutes or so. And I think you guys kind of know a lot about my character and my personality already, right? So that's what you're looking for. You're looking to size up the situation pretty quickly on the phone. So where do we go from here? Well, here what we're doing is we're doing a special offer. So it depends on which company we're working with and what kind of your industry you have. But in general, it all follows the same kind of template. And what we're doing is we're getting to know our target market. We're looking to see what their needs, wants, and desires are. And then what we're doing is we're filling that need, want, and desire. And I'll tell you how we make money here. It's because there is a problem in the marketplace with finding competent individuals that actually want to work and are not lazy. In all the companies I'm working with, the bigger companies, that's their number one issue. Finding people that actually want to do the work, and they don't, and they give a price, and then they stick to that price, and they get the job done no matter what, right? They don't change it. So that's what I'm finding in the marketplace is really needed. So if you can raise yourself up to that standard, and by the way, it's called professional in our circles, right? People are looking for professionals. And I think that each of you here are going to be able to segue nicely into a conversation about how you can provide solutions for them. It is a fact-finding mission. I think what is it that was said once before is that I can't really diagnose what the problem is with your car until you bring it to the mechanic. So we need to diagnose what your particular situation is. And every one of you here wants enhanced skills when it comes to communicating and making sales face-to-face. Every one of you here. So here's the buyer's journey. So with the buyer's journey, what we're looking at is this. It's also called an education spectrum. I need you to remember this. It's from A to Z. So the buyer's journey essentially is future buyers. And we recognize that future buyers are there. They may not know us. They might not know that we exist yet. They may not have done any research on us we may not even be maybe not even found because we don't have good online internet marketing. Don't know, whatever it is. The point is that there's future buyers out there. And then all of a sudden they're seeing the benefits of buying or selling what it is, or to buying buying a solution to their problem with their hot button. And then what they're doing is they're looking for They start asking friends and families, who should I buy from? You start doing research on the internet. You guys have all done this. Start doing research on the internet, and you're looking to see, okay, who is the person or who is the company that I just want to do the research. What is out there? And then it's not so much that people are buying a product or service. They also buy, go figure, a relationship. So we're making two decisions at any one time. Is this a product and service that I really want? Is this person someone I can actually work with? So that's what we're doing in our buyer's journey. And the way we differentiate in the marketplace is we know that our information needs to touch not just the 1% now buyers, not just the ones that are ready to buy today, because that's who we're all marketing to, really. That's the biggest competition. But we think ahead and we realize, hey, there's people that go through this buyer's journey. Have I created a buyer's journey? Ask yourself a question. And can you communicate that buyer's journey on the telephone or on the internet or in a series of emails? And can you do all of that all at the same time? That becomes a really nice marketing plan. And chances are your competitors are not doing this. Chances are, because this actually takes thinking work and it actually takes time. And so if you're willing to spend the time to develop it, chances are your competitors may not know how or are not at the Fountainhead network getting great information like this. So maybe you're going to get an edge and people are going to say, hey, why shouldn't I buy from this company or from this person? And that's what we're trying to share in our conversations, not all at once, but a series of relationship building touches. Very important that each of you guys have an autoresponder of some sort. So if you don't have an autoresponder, please get one. And remember this, that the stuff that you'll end up telling me ends up becoming your marketing. So if you want to tell me about your business, I'm listening for all the sales and marketing elements to it. When we sit down and I learn more about your business, we'll be able to customize something for you. You want to really be curious, as I mentioned earlier. The intention is to really, again, be genuine. You can't fake this stuff. If you fake it, you're going to be found out. And what I mean by found out is that the relationship may not go very far. So I had an individual that I followed up with for weeks and weeks and weeks. I was being led on, as a matter of fact. I didn't realize I was being led on. And I came out to the owner and I said, hey, I've been phoning you for weeks and just wondering how things are going. And have you been able to get the government grant that's out there? And the guy literally said to me, I don't remember who you are. I was like, okay, all right, I get the message. So sometimes that happens and you just have to be the bigger guy and brush off and say, oh, well, we've got to get on to the next conversation. So be very careful. Oh yeah, okay, autoresponders. An autoresponder is essentially like me taking different parts of each of these slides here and then taking out just a snippet and then putting that into an email and then sending it out automatically. We use a company called SendFox. They're the most affordable in the marketplace right now. You can get it on AppSumo. So we're using SendFox right now, and it can send automatically. I can send an unlimited amount to 20,000 people on a daily basis. So my autoresponder is I just add people to my email, especially individuals I'm calling up and talking to, or individuals that come onto my lead generation website. And I put a tag on it, and that tag basically says follow up for whatever campaign. And then it automatically sends it out. So I just create the message once, and then it sends it out automatically in every 3 days, every 2 days. What it does is it increases your likelihood to make a sale in the education spectrum. It's an absolute necessity in your business because you can then phone a person up and say, hey, I've been sending you some emails over the last couple of weeks. I was wondering if you got those. I mean, Simon, animation production is really cool. I want to actually introduce you to another member of Fountainhead, I think it is, that's actually a producer. I think that what you're doing with explainer videos is absolutely amazing because I've worked in that industry and I understand that industry and I know what producers need to see in order for you to get them on board to use your services. It's just a bit of explanation. It's just explaining what they already know, but in a way that they haven't heard it before. And so how many directors or producers are there in the Lower Mainland or across the West Coast? It's insane. And every one of them wants to pitch their next script. Many of them already have the people that are doing the explainer videos or explainer movies, but some of them don't. And that gives you the opportunity to just kind of just get right in and say, I want to be on your trades list. When you have one of these, I want to be able to bid on that project. That's all you're looking for. That's all you're looking for. 1 or 2 extra a month, then 3 or 4, whatever you can handle. We create something called a profit faucet, which means that if you're getting too busy, you turn it down. But when you want more business, you turn it up. And so that's a profit faucet. We love creating that for the companies and people that we work with. So we're talking about integrating here, which is basically making sure that you're able to anticipate the kinds of pains and problems and frustrations that your clients and prospects might have. That is only going to come about by your actual intimate knowledge of your product or service. And you should be able to understand what the lifetime value of a client is if you're in business to business, and you should be able to discuss the lifetime value of a client if it's business to business with your prospect, and understanding that, hey, I understand how much it costs to buy a client. I think that if you did this, you're going to find you're going to be able to reduce that cost. Let's test it and measure it. Most people are interested in testing and measuring, and they're willing to do that. So you got to really make sure you're making these phone calls to provide something of actual value. That's the key. And the thing is it's if you're in insurance, for instance, insurance is one of the toughest gigs. I mean, the toughest gig, I think. Really tough. So you have to completely think outside the box. Which means now what you got to do is you got to start thinking wealth protection. And as every business owner certainly wants wealth protection, and they want an exit strategy. And if you become the wealth protection and exit strategy master in your industry, and everyone comes to you for that, that's something unique in the marketplace. Now, with wealth protection and with exit strategies, of course you're talking about insurance. It's all about insurance. So I don't know if you've used that approach in the past. I see you're with WFG. That is the approach of WFG, as a matter of fact. It's exactly the approach. It's about actually building wealth. But you got to find what your unique purpose is, because your industry is just so different in the sense that you have lots of competition, and it's about filling people up in a room and offering that business opportunity. But your real business really is about having people that have gone to see the business opportunity, understanding that, and then implementing the ideas and actually using the products to build wealth in their businesses. So you have a unique scenario, but if you approach it in such a way that it's different, people will listen to you. People want an exit strategy. People really do want a succession plan. People don't want to talk about insurance. People want to talk about what insurance is going to do for them when they need it. And the pain is that typically they don't have it when they really need it, or they don't understand the fine print. So what you could do is you say, before you sign any agreement on your insurance, make sure you bring it by me, and I can tell you about the fine print. And you go in, you tell them about the fine print. That's your opportunity to quite frankly, take business away from other people that are not doing that. We once with a mortgage broker tried, let us be your second opinion. And that really worked. Remember, Avis used to be, we're second, but we try harder. Avis was never number one. So what can you do to be really unique in the marketplace? What pain, problems, and so on do your clients have? Let's keep going. I don't think I'm going to get through all of this. I don't know. I like to talk a little, I guess. All right. So many of the calls that I have, they first of all come up and say, is this a sales call? Never make a sales call, guys. Please don't. I make get to know you calls. Actually, I'm calling you because I have an opportunity for you guys to actually make some more money in your company. Oh, what's that about? Well, this is what we do. I want to get onto your trades list. So did you know that each year corporations actually renew their insurance? Every single year, corporations renew their insurance. And did you know that it's a real hassle for a corporation to go and find out better plans out there, because the person that's selling them the insurance is really only increasing the rate every single year, no matter what. So that is your opportunity to phone corporations and say, hey, by the way, I know you have a renewal coming up next year. What I want to do is I want to get onto your trades list. When that time comes, I want to give you an alternative proposal that I think will be of a better price, and I want to be able to prove it to you. Instantly, you're saying that everyone's going to save 10% right then and there. That's a unique selling proposition. Something very unique that you can use for this. That's not selling. I'm providing real, actual information that you're going to find value with. So you want to ensure that you also leave the door open for other conversations, other joint ventures, where other people are at in the buying cycle. So I noticed that somebody was photography. Well, did you know that there's a member, part of the Fountainhead, that actually does gift baskets? Chances are, if you're in photography, you're somewhere in the cycle where a person might actually want a gift basket. It might be there, specifically with maybe real estate agents, something like that. So maybe what you want to do is you want to introduce a gift basket opportunity to real estate agents, because you're doing 3D designs. And maybe what's going to happen is your margin will go up because these guys are looking for someone to promote their gift baskets, make a little bit more money. Maybe you're going to create a referral program, a joint venture of some sort, where you can make a referral and make a little cash, even if you don't do photography for that client. The idea is that we are helping each other when we're reaching out further than when we could independently. So let's keep going. We know body language is about 70% when it's face-to-face. You see me talking with my hands. And that's basically what I'm doing. But if it was like this, now it's a totally different scenario. Now you can't see me at all. Now what you're really doing is you're paying attention to my tone, my enunciations, where I'm saying the words. And all of this is happening unconsciously. We don't see that it's happening. So what we say absolutely matters. It's not that it's a small percentage that it doesn't matter very much. It's a small percentage because we have very little room to make mistakes when it comes to our language. We all watch politics. We don't like it very much. We understand the consequences of what I'm saying. So what we want to do is we just want to be authentic. You like it better with my face hair, guys? It makes it a little bit easier, right? It's like, oh, the other way is so weird. But the idea is really pay attention to what your tone is. Okay, so the voice of authority. The voice of authority, and all of you have it, it's when you know your product and service. Does it sound like I know what I'm talking about, guys? Like I made a couple of phone calls. I'm not making this up. I've done it. The thing is that I call with the, hey, how you doing? It's Odin here, Simon. I haven't talked to you in a while. And Simon is like, who are you? You're thinking in your head, where do I know Odin from? Do I remember him? Maybe I forgot. And I'm counting on that. I'm counting on that friendship model. I'm counting on the fact that you will recognize my voice. That's what I really want. So have a recognizable voice. Be charming. And if you say, do I know you from somewhere? Actually, I'm just getting to know you right now, is what I would say. And that's the truth. If you get offended by the truth, I'm sorry. But the truth is I'm just getting to know you right now. If I do know you and I have met with you before, I say, yeah, do you remember we met at the Fountainhead? That's where we met. Do your best to pace and match. Pacing and matching is the tone of voice, but you don't want to be pretentious here. I had a call earlier today with an individual, and quite frankly, the things they were doing concerned me. I came right out and I said, hey, what you're saying and what you're showing me really concerns me. I don't know if I want to work with you. I said that straight up because it's as much as an interview for me as it is I pour myself into companies, into people for them to really win in the marketplace. And by the end of the conversation, the guy goes, I really like you. You didn't shy away from telling me the hard truth at all. And so there's a little bit of needing to understand that as a professional, you're allowed to give advice and you're allowed to show your observations. So when I'm talking about pacing and matching, be authentic, be real, I find that when individuals are trying to be something that they're not, that's when things don't go the best. But if an individual knows that you're running from a script or reading from a script, everyone's going to know. And so do your best to that's why I'm saying you want to kind of not wing it, but just have a couple of just pointer notes, hot buttons and so on. And that'll make your life a lot easier when it comes to tone. All right, so we have here, match in what way? All right, specifically with body language is what matching is talking about. So arm positions, head positions, smiles, way feet are typically positioned. When you're talking about on the telephone though, individuals sometimes are very contemplative and slow in the way that they communicate and talk. So if I'm talking really fast to an individual, like I have, you guys demonstrated me, you've seen me talk pretty fast a couple times here. You see me slow it down right now. That is what the mirror and matching is about. Okay. It's really about coming down to the level, the vibration of that person, so you can actually have them hear you. We don't know what triggers people. So we don't know what happens in the black box. All we're doing is we're just wanting to say, hey, I have some education for you. Here's my interrupt. There's my icebreaker. Now I want to engage with you and I want to tell you about my product or service and my solution. Now I want to educate you. This is not just I'm asking you to buy from me because I'm the best in the world. I'm tooting my horn, right? No. We're saying, hey, I want to demonstrate to you that I'm actually really good at what I do. Very good at it. Give me a chance. I want to bid on your project. I want to get on your trades list. And then that's when you make them that offer. And the offer can be anything that you want it to be. But typically, you got to know what your lifetime value of a client is and what your cost of client acquisition is. Do you guys all know what that is? Lifetime value of client and cost of client acquisition. Okay, so you don't. Not all of you do, at least, which is okay. So the lifetime value of a client is essentially like a hairdresser. Hairdresser makes $100 a month from their average client. They do it for 12 months. That's $1,200. The client stays around for about 5 years. That's what, $5,600 or something like that. $5,800, whatever it is. So we now know that a client is worth about that much over a 5-year period. So if we know that a client's worth over $5,000, then we say to ourselves, what can I spend on marketing to get a $5,000 client? And at that point, marketing starts looking a little differently because now you're realizing that marketing is actually an investment. Making a phone call is an investment. These are all investments that you're making in yourself and in your business. So these two numbers allow you to actually know what you can spend on your marketing in order to get a $5,000 client. You need to know that number. It's an imperative number to know. Anyone that's in business to business can share that information with another business. And if you do a little more research, you can understand what those numbers are. And then in your mind, you understand exactly what value you can bring to the company. It really gives each business owner an edge. So what are the elements of your phone call? It should be interrupt, engage, educate, and offer. The offer is typically some kind of email or really good information. And remember this, your email needs to be short and sweet. We're all starved for attention nowadays. It all depends on the desire of the individual to really know this information, to really have it, to integrate it. So for us, We're looking for business owners that actually have a thirst and a drive to work on their sales and marketing on a weekly basis. They want to work on their business, not in it. They want to create systems that other people will run so they can go do what they love to do. That's what we love. That's what we're looking for. Not all business owners are like that. So we have to really pick and choose as to which ones we want to really engage and educate. Because we spend the same amount of time for the company that's $1 million or the company that's 100,000. There's no difference in regards to the amount of time that we spend. The difference is the person with $1 million probably has a bigger budget for their marketing, probably really pay you what you're worth. Next. Oh man, 1224. So have the objectives mapped out and the processes put into templates. So this right here we're talking about actually scripting your calls. So we're saying in the beginning, you want to understand what your sales process is. So you're scripting your calls, you're scripting what your first call is going to be, your second call is going to be, your third call is going to be, your fourth call. You're scripting what it is in your email, your first, second, third, fourth. And ideally, after that, you've made a sale. So we work with an equipment company specifically for the film industry, go figure. And we created a 4-part physical mail process, exactly what we're talking about, with a phone follow-up afterwards. We have about a 50% conversion rate. That's pretty darn good. It's not bad at all for having a 4-step mail process with a 2-step phone call process. Each of you can do that. Everyone here can. You just have to know what message to share. So we're talking about the receptionist and the gatekeeper. We talked about that already, about respecting them. We talked about offering value in the conversation already. It looks like I know the stuff. I just kind of went through it quickly. The special offer needs to actually provide and interrupt, engage, educate, and offer quality. It's not just, here's what I do, take it or leave it. That's not really how a relationship is built. So moving the process to the next step. So do you have a special offer? Do you have some kind of downsell? Do you have something that is going to allow the person to engage and say yes on the conversation so you can continue the dialogue? It may not just be the right time for them as well. Talking about the CRM, which I already mentioned the buyer's journey already mentioned the email sequence, talked about training, talked about the follow-up process already, talked about dedicating about an hour of time just for managing and cleaning your weekly CRM. That's actually a marketing to-do. Your database is your number one asset. It's your number one. Your products and services will not make you as much money as you think unless you have a database. So start building your database. That's one of the first things that we recommend to everybody when we show you how to make an extra $10,000, $100,000 in your business. In about 45 minutes, we can do that. I've done it every single time I get on the phone call, guys. And then I show you what steps you need to take in order to do that. And you just have to actually go and do it, please. But spending an hour of time on your business is really, really necessary. You want to be sending your messages out at least every 90 days, minimum. Every 120 days, you really don't have a list anymore. Because remember, it costs 8 times more to grow your list all over again. So just let people unsubscribe. It's totally cool. Just keep following up. Now, the mental mindset for this right here is that if you're introverted, guess what, guys? You never think about it, but I'm totally introverted and completely private. Absolutely. Completely. It doesn't look like it at all. I've had to just do it. I've had to get out of my own shell. I've had to figure out my own being genuine. You guys have this as well. I had to really find out how to be an interesting person. I'm still wowing my friends with some of the cool things that I've done in the past. Like, did you guys all know that I used to be a professional astrologer and I've done over 5,000 people's charts? Not only that, is that I've moved from being an astrologer to actually being a scientist, an astrobiologist. I'm one of 5 people in the world that have discovered this newest science of how we are really connected to our solar system. It's not just a belief. And then how you can actually track that. Oh man, that's super cool. You can actually, we've done tests on 2 UFC battlers for finals, and we're 100% accurate on picking the right winner every single time. That's to me, that's science. That's amazing. You can do that every single time. I mean, be interesting. Have different, like what Aaron was doing in regards to the games. We have 1 minute left, guys. Do you mind if I go a couple minutes over? That'd be all right with you? Is that okay? Okay, fine. What I can do is I've talked about all this already. It's all about mindset, different tips, and so I'm at the end. There you go. So why is there a gap between you and success? Chances are maybe it's poor time management. Maybe the goals are still in your head. You haven't figured out a way how to have smart goals. Maybe you have a lack of systems or strategic thinking. Maybe you don't understand the numbers, like we just talked about, lifetime value. Maybe you don't know what the sales process is, or your marketing materials are not as effective as they could be. Maybe you lack effective prospecting, or maybe you're not leveraging your contacts. Maybe there's not the right training, or you're losing motivation. You don't have added value initiatives. But the number one failure that I see that most business owners have is this. They fail to recognize this one most important thing, and you should write it down, that you own a sales and marketing company. And your job is to become really good at sales and marketing for your particular product and service. It's a transferable skill that helps with all kinds of communication. We do everything that we just talked about above. We help businesses do exactly that. And chances are maybe you have a new business or something has changed, or maybe you're trading time for money. I understand that. You've heard it all before, but the thing is, are you doing it? You've heard it all before, but you actually made the time to actually do it. You mean you all know how exercise is good? Are you actually making the time to go out and do exercise? You know it's going to make you live longer. Are you really going and doing it? So the point is, when it comes to your sales and marketing, this is the time to spend about 2 hours a week on your business. Start scheduling it. It's very important. The people that do, I see them get results. You want your business to be profitable, and you know that having a coach is definitely going to help. So here's what I'd like you to do. Go to theprofitcall.com. This is just an offer through the Fountainhead. What I'll do is I'm going to sit you down for about 45 minutes. I am booked out weeks in advance. You're going to have to be patient, please, all right? We do have another service where if you want 2 hours of my time, I go through about 120 different questions. We came up with a marketing plan. That's something we offer as well. But this one is about 45 minutes. We guarantee we're going to find you between $10,000 and $100,000 in your business. And Aaron's gone through, and a couple other people have gone through it, and they say, I'm really here to help you out. So go to theprofitcall.com. There's a chance to get one of our $5,000 grants. I'm able to gift those. And there is an application for those as well. So one or the other will be done if you do qualify. But we need to talk one-on-one. You just go down to theprofitcall.com. There's my phone number. And you can put all your information in there. And what it'll do is it'll go directly to me. But if you feel that you want to speak with me directly, just there's all my contact info. But I'm booking out. I have a huge project right now that I'm doing, guys. I'm literally working till 8 o'clock, and I'm working Saturdays to get this big project done. It's going to be done in about 2 weeks. So I'm going to have so much more time in 2 to 3 weeks that I'll be able to have these 45-minute calls. So the profit faucet's going to go a little bit up for me, and hopefully it'll do the same for you guys. With that, thank you so much for having me here today, Aaron. Let me take a breath.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I'm really happy you touched on being authentic, because it's so important. Honestly, I'm in sales, never wanted to be in sales in my life. And that's my jam actually now. So I actually started for a distributing company about 10 years ago, and I worked with them for 8 years. As like a photographer. They just wanted pictures for the websites and stuff. I was just helping a guy out, and my boss was like, no, you know what? It's playoffs. We're selling Canuck stuff. He's like, I need you on the phone. I'm like, I only ever took like takeout orders. Like, I don't know how to talk to people on the phone. Like, so the guy I was helping out made me a script. I was reading the script. I was getting hung up on left and right. It was terrible. I asked my boss, I was like, is there something else like I can do? Like, can I work in the warehouse? Like, give me something else. Like, I hate this. I never want to do it. And he was like, no, here, just sit and watch me for a bit. We were calling liquor stores because we also sold like wine bags and like.
He made it look natural, didn't he?
The first person we called, her name was Roxanne.
Yeah.
He picked up the phone and he started like, the person who answered was Roxanne, and he's like, Roxanne, like he literally started it. I'm like, what?
That's the I like you factor. That's like, the I like you factor right there.
Yeah. I'm like, whoever's on the phone is either hating this or loving it. And he got a sale out of it immediately. Like they laughed, they talked, they just like shot the shit. And he's like, hey, you guys need anything? You know, like we got this stuff. And ever since then, never looked at a script again. Always jot notes, like amazing jot notes, pointers, but just converse, get to know the person on the other end.
That's the only thing that makes the real sale, guys. People, what I find is people like to buy from people they like. And people that will actually do the work. That's another part of the story, right? They don't mind buying, but they want to see actually that the work will be done. Right?
And he made it so clear. He's like, these are the clients you want. The people that will shoot the shit with you, not
100%.
Right? Yeah, exactly.
Because we're spending so much time away from our families. It's important that we actually spend time with people that we get along with and like. I think. Isn't it? Yeah, I think so. Right on.
Awesome. Oh, go ahead, Odin.
I'm here for a couple of questions if you have any. Or Aaron, I just want to say thank you for making this opportunity happen for us today. And I'm kind of curious to see what takeaways everyone got, because I realized that I said everything on the slides without showing the slides. Sorry.
Well, yeah.
Okay, perfect.
Anybody have any questions? Actually, Odin, he's doing another one next month for us on June 30th, I think.
What's that one about?
I'm trying to figure it out right now.
Okay. Valor's the one that set all that up for me.
Yeah, so you are doing, all right, let's see, upcoming events. So Odin will be back for simple yet effective strategies to get boatloads of 5-star reviews for your business. So
nice.
And that's
a good one.
June 30th. I think that's another Wednesday at 11:30. Yeah.
That's what that one's about. What's the other one about?
I think he gave me a topic or two, but he wasn't finished on getting that all wrapped up. So we'll touch on that for July. So
Danny's saying my biggest takeaway is the importance and success of phone calls. Yeah, guys, I actually had to brainwash myself with notes saying that I love making phone calls. I had that note up there for years because it was a real chore in the very beginning. It's a chore, guys. But when you realize that you love making phone calls, you just start making those phone calls. The takeaway is tone. Yeah, absolutely. Tone is, it's really important in one degree. But the other degree, I find that human beings are really accepting of each other. And so as great as tone is, just be yourself. I think that people genuinely want to see you and want to get the real goods. If you can give that, I think that's even more important than tone. Great, guys. I love today. Really was a pleasure speaking with you, and you got my juices running. Made me happy to be here. Thank you, everybody.